Greg Hansard once thought he was bulletproof.
At the time, I was a hothead. I never thought I would get shot at.
But he was wrong. One day, a stray bullet hit him while he was standing on a street corner.
I got hit here in the chest, but the bullet went to the arm. That was a mind-blowing experience. I've been in so many situations where I should be dead, I should have been in the pen, and I walked scot-free.
Greg was raised in a tough neighborhood in East Nashville. His parents were Christians, and his mother tried her best to shield him from the influences lurking outside their door.
She was very strict. She drove us to church every Sunday. She just didn't allow me going nowhere near the projects.
As a young man, Greg became curious when a friend of his seemed to be making a lot of extra money.
I was just hanging out when he was making money. And I was like, what are you doing? He's like, selling this little white stuff. I was like, that's all?
Greg began selling cocaine when he was still in high school. Always a hard worker, Greg used his lawn service to hide his drug dealing from his mother.
It was done as a cover. They had lawn services. We pretty much didn't cut no grass, but that gave me an excuse for being away from the house. You leave with a lawnmower in the morning time, you come back with so much money, you don't know how many yards you cut.
Soon, he had created a small drug empire.
As I started making money, I would run shift, meaning that if I had 7 guys that was trying to sell drugs, as long as you buy from me, I can put you up in a house to where you can sell the dope out there for a certain amount of time, or you can take the whole block.
As Greg's reputation spread, women began throwing themselves at him. He fathered 6 children with 4 different women. Later, he married one of them, and the two began raising their children in East Nashville. One day, Greg heard a noise while his children were outside playing.
They was shooting outside, and there was a guy running through the alley. Looked around the house for my kids, I didn't see him, so I come outside, see my kids out. So they were just caught up in the crossfire. So I went to run to get my kids and try to get the other neighborhood kids out.
Greg pulled them to safety amidst a flurry of gunfire. Once he had them inside, he realized that a bullet had grazed his forehead.
Fell my head, was kind of blood, and my wife came and grabbed me and came in the house.
This second near miss was a wake-up call for Greg.
So I was mainly worried about not seeing my kids no more because they were so young.
Anytime Greg was arrested for selling drugs, the charges never stuck. He did, however, end up doing time in the county jail for traffic violations. While he was there, Greg began to examine his life.
I had like an out-of-body experience, meaning that I'm in jail, and it's like I'm there physically, but yet I can see myself stand on the outside of it, and I can see how I played a part of what's going on.
While he was in jail, 2 men shared Christ with Greg.
And we was praying every day, reading the Bible every day, and when I got out, I said, this day forward, I will serve the Lord. That's when I started making changes and just changed my environment, and I went through I call it a 2-year detox. That's why I just went work, home, and church.
The change in his environment helped mature Greg, and over time he was able to grow in his faith. Today, he volunteers his time ministering to inner-city kids.
We just talking about what's going on out here in the world and how to deal with certain things, you know, drugs and sex, gunfire, robbing, stealing, grade school, hip-hop. You know, we just got a curriculum of stuff we just talked about. So I wrote a program and I based everything off of Proverbs, because that's the book of knowledge and wisdom. And I just teach kids that you have a choice. No matter what your situation is, you have a choice. And if you teach, I feel that you teach kids or even adults that if they understand what their choices are and their consequences are, you'll start making better decisions.
Greg believes that God spared his life so that he could share his story with young people.
Now I understand that Jesus died for our sins. My purpose in life is to give my testimony. Whenever you get down, don't turn to man, turn to God, and God will get you through whatever. You got God, He ain't gonna let you go.